The island of Cebu, once alive with the hum of tricycles, children's laughter, and vendors calling under the coconut trees, had fallen silent. Days earlier, disaster had struck twice. First, a violent 7.4 magnitude earthquake, then Typhoon Molina, one of the fiercest storms in decades. Once bright streets now lay in ruins. Churches that had stood for centuries were cracked and crumbling. The turquoise waters of the Visayan Sea had turned gray and muddy with debris. Amid the grief and confusion, one name began to echo across radio stations and relief shelters: Alexandra, Eala. At just 20 years old, the young tennis star had done more than send condolences. She had sent hope in action. Her message, read by a local broadcaster, moved the nation to tears. Cebu is more than a place on the map for me. It's part of who I am. I'm donating $1.5 million to help rebuild schools, homes, and dreams. Together, we will rise again. The moment her words were heard, shelters erupted in applause. For a country buried under rubble and fear, Alex's message was like sunlight breaking through clouds. Long before the trophies and headlines, Eala was a barefoot girl from Manila who spent her summers in Cebu, her mother's hometown. Her grandmother, Lola Mila, used to tell her, "Anik, it's not the strength of your arm that matters. It's the kindness in your heart." That kindness had shaped Alex long before she became a global tennis sensation. At age 10, she spent one summer helping her grandmother run a tiny eatery near the market. Each morning, she delivered plates of steaming rice and adobo to fishermen and school children, smiling as she went. That feeling of giving, of seeing others smile because of her, stayed with her long after fame found her. When she saw images of Cebu in ruins, her first thought wasn't disbelief, it was responsibility. The earthquake had struck at 10:42 p.m. on a humid Friday night. People were just settling into bed when the ground began to shake. Glass shattered, walls split open, and in 38 terrifying seconds, lifetimes of work were erased. Then came the second blow, Typhoon Molina. With winds gusting at 180 kilometers per hour, it tore through coastal towns, uprooted trees, and cut off power to hundreds of thousands. By sunrise, Cebu looked like a ghost of itself. Entire barangays were underwater. Families huddled in temporary shelters. The air smelled of salt, dust, and smoke. That very moment, Alex was in Madrid, training for her next WTA tournament. Her phone buzzed nonstop with alerts, but when she saw the image of a collapsed bridge near her grandmother's village, her heart stopped. "Lola," she whispered before immediately booking the next flight home. She arrived at Mactan, Cebu International Airport at dawn. Parts of the terminal were still without power, and cracks ran across the runway. Alex appeared without any entourage, just jeans, a white t-shirt, and a cap pulled low over her face. Cameras flashed as reporters crowded around, but she quietly said, "I didn't come here to make headlines. I came to help." Her grandmother's home in Karkar still stood, but was fractured by the quake. When Alex touched the cracked wall, tears welled in her eyes. "I used to run here after every practice," she said softly. "Now I'll help rebuild it, and every home that needs it." That same day, she announced her donation, $1.5 million from her prize money and sponsorship earnings, to launch Project Lakas, meaning strength in Filipino. The initiative would focus on rebuilding not just structures, but hope itself. Within days, the project came alive. The funds were divided into 3 branches, each designed to restore a piece of normal life for the people of southern Cebu. The first branch, Bahay para sa Bayan, Homes for the People, aimed to rebuild 300 houses in coastal towns using eco-friendly bamboo and storm-resistant roofing. These weren't just shelters. They were designed to last and to protect families from future disasters. The second, Eskwela Muli, School Again, was dedicated to restoring 5 damaged schools, replacing books, desks, and learning materials. Alex insisted that each school also receive new sports equipment because, as she said, every child deserves a place to dream again. The third branch, Project Lakas Tennis Camps, was closest to her heart. Partnering with local coaches, she set up temporary courts in evacuation areas, teaching children how to play. For many of them, it was their first time holding a racket, a small escape from the chaos, and a reminder that joy was still possible. The first school to be rebuilt under Project La Cause was San Roque Elementary, perched on a hill overlooking the sea. The earthquake had split its classrooms in half. When Alex arrived to visit, she wore a construction helmet and joined volunteers carrying supplies. The children ran toward her, shouting her name. She knelt down, hugged them, and said, "We're going to make this beautiful again." Local volunteers and engineers said her presence alone gave people energy. "When she's here, everyone works faster," one worker joked. "It's like she's bringing hope with her smile." In interviews, Alex downplayed her generosity. "I'm not doing this because I'm famous," she said. "I'm doing this because this is home." The story spread quickly beyond the Philippines. International news outlets highlighted her donation, calling her the heart of a champion. Tennis fans worldwide flooded social media with messages of admiration. Fellow players, from Coco Gauff to IGA Swiatek, praised her for using her platform to help those in need. But for Alex, the true reward came one afternoon in Cebu, weeks after the disaster. She was visiting one of the rebuilt schools when a little girl handed her a handmade card. On it, the child had drawn a house, a tennis court, and a rainbow. Beneath it were the words, "Salamat, pa, aid Alex. You gave us our home back." Alex held the card to her chest and smiled through tears. "That's why I play," she said quietly. Her grandmother's old saying echoed in her mind. That kindness is stronger than any serve, any trophy, or any record. And in that moment, everyone around her could see that this wasn't just a tennis star doing charity work. This was a daughter of Cebu, rebuilding her roots with love. In the months that followed, Project La Cause continued to grow, supported by other donors inspired by Alex's example. New houses rose along the coast, schools reopened their doors, and laughter returned to the streets. Cebu was healing. And somewhere amid the rebuilding, Eala, the girl who once ran barefoot through her grandmother's kitchen, proved that true champions aren't defined by the matches they win, but by the hearts they touch when the world needs them most.